Florence City Planning Commission. Again, we're under unusual circumstances, and the city has dealt with it accordingly and efficiently. And I'd like to thank the IT staff and also the planning staff for putting this together. All right, we know the drill. The first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from last April's meeting. You received the packet. If anybody has any questions, concerns, or changes, I'd like to hear them now. If not, I'll call for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Okay, that was from Ms. Hines, I believe. Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a second from Mr. Charles there. So I have a motion, a second to approve as submitted. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a hand vote, if y'all don't mind. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And a hand, I'm sorry.
Aye.
It is unanimous. And anyone against? And again, it is unanimous for. The next item on the agenda is PC 2020-09. This is a request to rezone from RS to RG3. And our request for the staff report, please. Good evening.
Good evening. It's nice to see everybody. I'm going to go ahead and share the PowerPoint screen so that y'all can see it. Okay, everybody should be seeing the PowerPoint screen.
Oh, okay.
There we go. All right, so as Chairman said, request to rezone from an RS to an RG3. Here's the parcel of land out on East Sam Harrell Road. Here's the current zoning map. Is currently zoned residential suburban. And here's the future land use, residential suburban currently, and also surrounded by neighborhood conservation. Here's a street view of the parcel. So just a field, a large 44 acres of land. So the City Council Ordinance 2008-07, East Sam Harrell Road, 45 acres were annexed. That was March 4th of 2008. 40 acres were zoned R3, which was single family small lots. This was actually the 1999 consolidated ordinance. And then 4.5 acres were zoned R2, which is single family medium lots. So that's how it was originally annexed into the city. It's currently zoned RS, which is residential suburban, and the minimum lot size for residential suburban is 2 acres. So each lot has to be a minimum of 2 acres. The proposed zoning, RG3, residential general, the minimum lot size is 6,000 square feet. So here is the original compared to the proposed. It was annexed in, a majority of the land was this R3. As you can see, the minimum lot area was 6,000 square feet, 50-foot lot width, setbacks 25 feet in the front, 5 on the side, 25 feet in the rear, with a density of about 6.5 units per acre. So 6.5 houses per acre. And then, as you can see in the Unified Development Ordinance, the proposed zoning for the RG3 is very much in line with the R3 of the original annexation. Again, the 6,000 square foot lot area, 60-foot lot width, and comparable setbacks with a little bit higher density, 7.26 units per acre. Still tracking with the original annexation. So the proposed zoning, RG3, is intended to provide for a variety of residential housing and neighborhood types with an auto urban or new urban character. The parcel was zoned originally R3, and a 4.5 acres was R2 in the previous zoning ordinance back in back in the 1999 ordinance. Adoption of the Unified Development Ordinance resulted in the designation of the property as residential suburban. The requested RG3 is more consistent with the original zoning of R3. City staff believes the current zoning was sort of a translational error when the zoning map was updated from the old ordinance to the Unified Development Ordinance in 2018. And that does conclude staff report.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions of staff from the commissioners? From what I understand, this is one of those issues that slipped under the carpet or under the door as it relates to what it should have been zoned with our new Unified Development Ordinance. And for what you're saying, the applicant's request to RG3 is more appropriate for this type of use and location. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. Again, any of the commissioners have questions of staff? All right. Thank you very much. I'll open the public hearing portion of this. We do have Mr. Finkley here, who is the applicant. I will open up, which we do not have anyone calling in. So I'll ask anyone that's against this, and I'll automatically close that, and I'll ask anyone that is for this. And Mr. Finkley, I'd encourage you to go ahead and just add to this if there's anything that you'd like to say on behalf of this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, thank all of you for your service and also for participating tonight. I'm glad to say that a large part of our work is continuing to go on, and construction and development is one of those that are going on now. So I appreciate y'all serving and passing this, as well as other measures that are before you tonight to keep the buck going. As I really don't have much to add to what staff stated, I was not aware of the reason or how it was rezoned until I actually went on the GIS maps to measure the frontage, because I had someone to call for a lot on Sam Howell Road. And when I went to use their measurement tools and go on GIS, that's when I realized that it had been rezoned to what I think we all agree is an improper translational, I like the way staff said that, translational error. So, and all I'm asking to happen is for it to be rezoned back to the closest thing that we had before. I had a neighbor call me, as well as Representative Alexander call me and just ask, what am I doing? And you know, I shared with them the same thing that staff did, but I have no plans to develop. I have not worked on any drawings. I actually, back when we zoned it, I had approved plans for the back acreage, and I don't know how many it is, but it backs up to the park. I had that developed. Planning Commission approved a subdivision. My DHEC permits are still valid for another 1.5 years, but I think I would have to come before the city, or I know I would, before the City Planning Commission before I did any sort of development out there, because the plan, although it's grandfathered for DHEC, I don't think it is for city planning. So, but I don't have any plans on the boards now or in the immediate future. I just want to be prepared, so when something does happen, I've got the zoning to where it's supposed to be. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Finkley. Any of the commissioners have a question of Mr. Finkley directly? Okay, is that you, Charles, raising your hand?
No, I was unmuting.
Okay. So with that, I will close the public hearing portion of this and call for a motion.
I move that we approve as requested.
Okay, Mr. Howard has made a motion to approve as requested. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have 2 seconds. I think Mr. Bacote and Ms. Gregg both, but we have a second. We have a motion, a second to approve as submitted. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a hand vote again. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. It is unanimous. I will not ask for a nay vote. Mr. Finkley, congratulations. And thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, and I appreciate staff going through those efforts for me. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, the next item on the agenda is PC 2020-12. This is a request to rezone from CG to NC4. Staff report, please.
Good afternoon. It's good to see everybody. I will go ahead and put up the screen for this as well. This is the request to rezone two parcels located along East Chapel View Drive. They are currently in the city limits, but they were zoned when they were annexed commercial general. And here you can see them. They back up to the Southbrook Circle neighborhood, and this is a close-up of them. They're undeveloped. They're fully. They're zoned commercial general, but the properties behind them are zoned NC 6.1, which provides for small lots of 6,000 square feet. The future land use calls for it to be neighborhood conservation. So it kind of intended for it to be residential use instead of the commercial use. These are some site photos. As you can tell, it's totally undeveloped. And the request is for the R4 zoning designation is for, as you'll see in the next case, they plan to build houses on it. So they just wanted to get it into a more appropriate zoning designation. So that concludes staff's report.
Thank you, Lane, Ms. Lane. Any questions from the commissioners of staff? I have one question. Is this the one that takes it down to 40 feet of frontage?
Yes.
On each lot? And with setbacks and all that, how many square feet of, how much square footage of a house can you build on 35 feet or 30 or?
Yeah, they'll be small, they'll be little houses. I understand they'll be kind of like patio home style.
Okay, I mean, I have no problem with it. I just can't imagine what could be built on that. But anyway, no questions from the commissioners of staff. Thank you, Ms. Lane. I'll open and close the public hearing portion of this and call for a motion.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Mr. Finkel.
I am the applicant for this, so if there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer those. But your next item for approval is actually the subdivision plan. So
All that, yeah.
And as staff pointed out, this as commercial, we could do a broad variety of uses here, but I wanted to do housing. And we had actually worked with staff for the longest time to do townhouses, but we decided after talking to staff that we would just try the single family detached rather than the single family attached. So that's what you'll see the next time, but this zoning allows us to do that. And we have, of course, we have house plans that fit these lots. And in fact, their plans are very similar to ones that we built on Thorncliffe, which is the next road north up on Irby Street. So,
And thank you for saying that. It's funny they had your name on the first as applicant on the first one, but didn't mention your name in the second or third.
I think that's in a company name, but I don't see the applicant actually. But yeah.
Yeah. Looking at the sketch plan, which we'll have next on the agenda, I'm asking you, what kind of a square footage home can you build on a lot like that?
12 to 1,400. 1,400 is our goal. We just built 4 or 5 of these houses on Thorncliffe Road, which is, if you're going into Florence from South Irby and look on the right at South Florence High School, those are the type houses. So they're, I mean, they're what we're building in many places. So
I understand.
it fits. Yeah, it fits. So we've got one that we may have to do a little wider than longer, but they all fit.
No, that's good. And as you mentioned, this could easily go commercial or certainly multi-tenant or at least townhome. So
Yeah.
the single family is certainly very appropriate for the neighborhood. So I open it up for the commissioners. Yeah, and does anyone have any question of Mr. Finkley? Thank you, Mr. Finkley. Hearing none, I will call for a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Hill made a motion. I need a second.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Edwards, I think, got that. So it's Mr. Hill and Ms. Edwards, I have a motion and a second to approve as submitted. Any discussion? Hearing none. Robbie, I see that your mic is muted.
I'm doing that for your benefit.
Well, I figured it had to come from the smartest guy in the whole crowd. Thank you. With that said, I have a motion, a second, no discussion. I'll call for a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. I have unanimous again. No need for a nay vote. Congratulations again, Mr. Finkley.
Thank you.
Then the final item on the agenda is 2020-13. It's the Mr. Gary Finkley show tonight. We have had a chance to take a look at that. Does anyone, is there going to be a staff report with that sketch plan?
I can just add the the only difference between the two is the site plan right here, the sketch plan showing 9 lots.
Right.
With an average of, and I was wrong in the staff report. I put that the R4 lot size, minimum lot size is 4,000 square feet. It's actually 4,400 square feet.
Okay.
And all these do meet it. The smallest one's 4,422. And then they all do meet the lot width of 40 feet.
Excellent. Any questions from staff or Mr. Finkley on this sketch plan? Hearing none, does not require a public hearing. So we will go. Did you want to add something, Mr. Dudley?
No, I'm good.
Okay. We'll go to a vote. Excuse me, I'll call for a motion to approve as submitted, the sketch plan.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Howard has a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Coate, second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a hand vote again. All those in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous. No need for a nay vote. Thank you again, Mr. Finkley. And
Again, thank all y'all and staff for getting this together.
absolutely, great job on prep as well. Mr. Dudley, do we have any old and new business that we need to discuss?
Not at this time. I just want to thank everyone for participating in this unique time and through this unique method. But don't get too accustomed to it. I want to get everyone back together again in person here before long.
Well, I'm just a hug from Ms. Hines and Ms. Gregg, so we're going to get back together one way or another.
Right. Especially you, Mr. Howard. You look awfully comfortable.
Like he's sitting there
Relax.
looking over the back 40 and sipping mint juleps over there.
It's been a long day.
Just saying.
How's your daughter?
Oh,
How's your
doing
daughter?
very well. Back in gymnastics.
So no COVID-19 with her. No, good. Great news.
Good.
Thanks for asking, Charles. That
Thank
was
you.
forgotten about that. All right, Mr. Moses, do what you do best.
I move that we adjourn.
That's unanimous. Thank you all. It was a pleasure. We didn't break a record, but 20 minutes, and we had 3 items on the agenda. So thank you very much. Y'all have a great evening and stay healthy.
Thank
You're safe.
Good night.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.